Alright, Presenter here, back with another Honkai Startup Guide, and as we do have the new Apocalyptic Shadow reset, I'm here with the best characters to use for each side. As normal, this video is going to be super fast paced, so be sure to buckle up. And before I get into the video, drop a like, drop a sub, hit the bell icon for future videos like this, and let's get straight into it. So first, starting it off, obviously we're going to be looking at the actual buffs and such on each side. So, the regular one, as we do have, when an enemy with Steadfast Safeguard is weakness broken, dispels control state for all allies, recovers their skill points and activates their ultimates, increases skill damage taken by all enemies by 25%, and increases ultimate damage taken by 15%. Oh gee, I wonder if we have a current character that mainly deals damage off skill that can also deal damage off all. I wonder who that's for. And once we do look at the first half sides, we do have when 2 or more characters following the path of erudition are on a team, increases all allies attack by 60%. Gee, I wonder who this is for. Second one is increases physical damage dealt by all allies by 50% and effect res by 50%. And the last one is your typical break. When any ally breaks an enemy target's weakness, advances the ally's action by 20%. And then looking at the second side, we do have when characters attack weakness broken targets, all dots currently applied to the enemy will immediately deal damage equal to 60% of the original damage. This effect can trigger up to a maximum time of 1 per turn. Next one is after defeating enemy targets, increase break damage taken by all enemies by 5% to a maximum of 5 stacks. This effect will also take effect on new enemies when entering battlefield. And then the last one is increases crit damage of all allies basic attack and ultimate damage dealt by 30%, with an additional increase of 30% against enemy targets that are weakness broken. So first, taking a look at the best DPSs for either side, so the DPS you can use on either side, as both are primarily weak to Imaginary, and Rappa could already deal with them regardless, who is already really strong in Pure Fiction and also Apocalyptic Shadow. Especially now with the introduction of Fugue, Rappa is going to be super broken on either side, as she is a super break dealing, you know, regular break DPS. She's able to hit everyone on the field for the most part, and yep, you go on the Dingu Demon Blade Pedal Blade, and boom, you can go crazy. And especially in the first half where you're able to just have more actions, that's going to be great for her, getting more damage output, lowering toughness even faster. And if you're taking her on the second half, she can deal more break damage with the buff. And as I already mentioned, you don't have to worry about it just being the 50% that she will gain from the ultimate of ignoring weakness types in the enhanced basic attack, but rather, since they are weak to Imaginary, it's going to be the full effect. And then you stack anything with Ruan Mei, and then you stack anything with Fugue that you have on top of that, and you're going to get this absolute monster that's going to shred through either side, as they are really AoE focused in this one. Since with the second half, you want to make sure you kill the flowers on the side to get the buffs. On the first half, you want to make sure you kill the ones on the side to lower the toughness faster, because it doesn't go down that fast innately, and can also apply the vulnerability stack, so Rappa is going to be broken on either side. No shocker, as Firefly is able to implant fire weakness, she's just going to be broken on either side, and as she is practically one of the other break gods, you're going to be able to effectively using her. She can make use of both the buffs for any break related things, as the first side will give her a lot more turns with the action advance if you do tune her correctly regarding the buff, or on the second half where she'll just deal more damage. You know, she gives herself a bunch of speed once you go into complete combustion. You're gonna go ahead and use the AoEs, you're gonna go crazy, constantly just shredding. The second half does already have some fire weakness, so that's gonna be helpful, but as Firefly already does implant fire weakness with the blast skill that she does do, you're gonna be able to shred regardless, even if you take her on the first half, because she can constantly break the enemies on the side as well. And so especially with the stuff you can do with Fugue and such now, even if you're not running Fugue, she's just gonna go crazy. So Firefly is a great option for both halves as well. Situationally, Bootail is good on either halves in my opinion, since he can also implant his physical weakness, and especially with his best team being something related with Fugue now, so the stuff he can do is very crazy. Either side will have an option to actually shred on the side to stack up his pocket trick shots, so that's going to be really good. He will have easier time on the second half, I do think, and from my experience from testing, I did find him a lot better on the second half, even though they don't have any physical weakness while the first half does. Personally, I prefer to use him on the second half, but that does not mean he's anywhere near as weak in the first half. In the first half, he's still really good. Either or, even though this is a more AoE centered Apocalyptic Shadow because there's a lot of stuff on the side, he's still able to just absolutely shred through the bars if you play it right. You just need to play a bit smart with Bootail, implant the weaknesses whenever you do get it, so you can actually have that up a lot, shred through the boss as fast as possible, kill the guys on the side to stack up your pocket trick shot at the beginning of the battle as fast as possible. And if you do play it right, Bootail is going to be very strong in either halves. Now talking about the best characters for the first half, as the first half is practically perfectly made for the Herda, she's obviously going to be the best undisputed for that first half, as the erudition buff perfectly ties towards her kit, where she does want another erudition character to give everyone a bunch of crit damage, so that's going to be very well. And on top of that, having that second erudition character would equate to you having 2 erudition characters, so not only are you giving everyone crit damage thanks to her bonus trace, now the actual buff is giving those characters attack as well. So just a massive buff, as this Apocalyptic Shadow also focuses on skill damage, and her main source of damage is enhanced skill. That's another big selling point, and then her ultimate can also do damage, so boom, there you go. Enhanced skill is gonna do probably like 2-3 million out the butt, just just over and over and over again. Ice weakness, primarily skill damage from this thing, having that perfect tailor made towards buff that also works with the ultimate and such. It is practically going to make the Herda the best for the first half easily. Now another really good character in that first half is Yunli, and that is due to the fact that the bugs have a very high attack frequency. And so obviously first you have to deal with getting CC'd, but there is a buff that gives that physical damage, which Yunli is a physical character, and also the effect res, which is massive. Tie that together, you practically are going to have Yunli just ultimately just being able to spam ultimate, get into it, call a bunch of times, do a bunch of damage, kill the enemies on the side, and even if you mess up with the into it slash and you get it by 1 sec, maybe something happened in your tuning, something messed up, you get into it slash instead of call, then you have the safety net to get the actual into a call next time at least. You know, she can resist crowd control debuff since the bugs can actually CC you quite a bit, so the fact that the buff gives physical damage and also effect res is massive, and since Yunli can kind of deal with that herself as well, so Yunli is a fantastic option to use for the first half. Albeit not as powerful as Yunli, Clara is still very good, as again they have high frequency for attacks, so you can constantly counter just like Yunli, who's going to constantly be able to counter. Once again, it won't be as powerful as Yunli, but once Clara is in the ultimate and you have the enhanced counters to make that a whole blast counter, it's going to be very powerful. On top of that, her skill is also pure AoE to everyone as well, so you can deal a bunch of damage to enemies. It's really easy to get her ultimate back as well, so you can constantly have uptime on the enhanced counters, overall making her another great option. As this is mainly a skill spamming one, or at least benefit the people that do most damage off skill, and since it's also ice weakness based, Jinglu is also a really solid option, especially since once you go into the transform state, you have access to the blast enhanced skill. There isn't a buff tailor made towards her. You can't select an ice exclusive buff, you can't select a skill exclusive buff. There's the one where if you weakness break, you get the action forward, which can be beneficial, but can also be a bit annoying as her countdown for her actual transform state does go down on her turn, so that could be a bit annoying, but still can also be good at the same time. So the amount of damage Jinglu can do on this is also good, making her overall another great option you can use. Depending on the team, Jade is also a fantastic option since there are very strong people that Jade pairs well with, such as Clara and Yunli. Some characters that will not be mentioned on this, but some certain teams that can use Jade are also very strong on this, especially with the Herda, who Jade is practically the best teammate you can use with her with. She is going to be fantastic because again, her follow-up attacks is going to be pure AoE, her ultimate's pure AoE, you use the ultimate and has a follow-up attack, can do a bunch of damage, and she can also make use of the erudition buff, since if you are running the Herda, you can run Jade, and now you get the erudition buff, and now boom, both of them are going to do so much more damage. That's going to be a great thing you can do, and again, you can give Herda speed, or you can give whoever you're using speed and bring them up to breakpoints and do some funny speed tuning so they can get more turns and such. And again, as both Jade's ultimate and follow-up attack will be doing some pretty good damage and hit everyone, that's going to be great. Does more damage when you stack up the pawn essence for the talent, so you can do even more crit damage and such, and then also attack percent with the bonus trace, so the damage you can get will stack up a lot. And once again, since some of Jade's best teammates are really good on this half, so again, Herda, Yunli, and so on, it makes her just so powerful on this, and they also do have quantum weakness, so that's even better, making Jade a fantastic option. Now for the second half, Feixiao is going to be absolutely incredible on this half, as they do also have wind weakness. She also has the access to follow-up attack. Her premium follow-up team can absolutely destroy this second half. She's very easily able to deal with the plants on the side. If you ult the side, that might need like the break one, so you can constantly break that side plant and also defeat it at the same time, getting a break buff or the other ones that give a damage buff. She's very easily able to kill the ones on the right with her just skill plus follow-up attack, and then on the left side you can easily just ult one and then use ult on Fantilia right after. She's also able to do a bunch of damage before you actually break Fantilia herself, so the damage you can get off before actually breaking them is very good, and overall making Feixiao one of, if not the best option for that half. On a follow-up related team, Topaz is going to be fantastic for this half since they also do have fire weakness, so mainly if you're pairing with someone like Feixiao, then it's going to be great, but Topaz is still really good, as she does have a very high attack frequency, which can help lower toughness faster, help you kill the plants on the side really fast. But again, you're only really using Topaz on a follow-up team, so I don't want to talk about it too much. The debuff she gets for follow-up characters makes them do so much more damage, and as I mentioned, she's able to help break a lot because again, Numbi gets a bunch of attacks, so it's going to help you lower toughness faster. So that's a great option, and making Topaz another great option, mainly on the follow-up attack team. Now again, if you are using Sunday, so again, if you are using Jingwan with Sunday, he's going to be really good on this half because Sunday fixes his issues of Jingwan not being able to attack too often thanks to Lightning Lord being kind of slow, but you know, Sunday fixes that issue. But yeah, so Jingwan skill, practically just everything stacks, it hits everything, so it's going to be able to hit the plants on the side, but it doesn't do too much damage. The ultimate can do some pretty good damage and help you wiggle down the actual plants on the side as well, and then once the actual Lightning Lord attacks, since stuff scattered across it does actually have lightning weakness, you can do even more damage to them. And so having a high stacked Lightning Lord is going to absolutely decimate the plants on the side and do a lot of damage to Fantilia. So if you are using Sunday with Jingwan, which you will be using, otherwise you probably wouldn't use him, he will be a really good option as well. Acheron is another really good option to use as she does do lightning damage, and again, it has lightning weakness for the most part. But running a team alongside her that can help her get ultimate fast, she's able to absolutely shred through this plants on the side with her ultimate, and the ultimate can also lower toughness regardless of type, which doesn't really matter. And then the skill itself being also blast is also nice because it actually can do some really good damage, so helping you deal with the plants on the side even more. And the main playstyle is to get her stacked as fast as possible, ult and deal a bunch of damage, and she's also able to deal some pretty alright toughness damage, but mainly for the fact that she can absolutely decimate all the plants at once, and that's going to do a bunch of toughness damage to Fantilia and helping you break her faster, overall making Acheron another fantastic option. Kafka on a dot team is going to be good as there is a buff that lets you deal the original damage, and so you're able to kill the plants on the side fast with dots, so that's going to be really good. So running a dot team is viable, and Kafka is going to be on that team because she is practically the dot enabler. So her skill being blast, ultimate hitting everyone, being able to immediately proc the actual dots on the enemies as well, plus the original damage from the buff. She has a lot of stuff going for her in this half, so Kafka on the second half is great as well. Now when it comes to some debuffers, obviously Jiaoqiu is going to be good to anyone that can do alt damage, so if you're pairing him with someone like Yunli, that works, but mainly with someone like Acheron, so on the second half that's going to be great. Especially since the second half both has lightning weakness for your Acheron and also fire weakness for Jiaoqiu, so Jiaoqiu can also do toughness, but even if you're not using it with Acheron, again, someone like Yunli, because of the alt damage increase, is going to make Yunli do a lot of damage, or just whatever team you're running him on that can use the debuff, since he is also a pretty good general debuffer with the vulnerability stacks. The ultimate damage for any time you do deal ultimate damage is still going to be nice. He is mainly better on the second half as they do again have fire weakness on that side, but if you are doing something on the first half which can't use him, he's still going to be good on that half, making Jiaoqiu a good option as a debuffer. Black Swan primarily when you are running the second half with Kafka for the dot team is going to be a thing, but on the first half, you know, as a debuffer wherever you're running and needing a debuffer thanks to her defense shred is going to be really nice. Since her defense shred is blast, very easy to set up, you just proc it, boom, now you have a 20.8% defense shred, so anyone's doing more damage, but again, she's going to mainly excel with the second half with Kafka, since Black Swan is best on a dot team, and the second half also does have wind weakness, so that's going to be very good pairing with Kafka, because now you have the lightning weakness, you have the wind weakness, and so on. So again, she is mainly better on a dot team because of the Arcana stacks and so on, but she's still a pretty good universal debuffer overall, making her another great option as well. Mainly on the first half, but again, debuffers you can practically use them anywhere, but since on the first half you can help lower toughness, Pela is still a great option, as she does have a massive 40% exposed debuff, which is 40% defense shred, and since the first half does have ice weakness, she can help lower the toughness as well, and if you're pairing her with someone like Herda or whatever you're doing, or any other ice DPS, and you do have the E4, that's an extra 12% decrease to ice rest for the enemy, so that's also really nice. And if you're using it with Acheron, you can use it on whatever side you're doing. Again, with debuffers, they might have a better side, like again, Pela's better on the first half, Jiaoqiu might be better on the second half, but that doesn't matter, it's a debuffer, you take them whatever team has them best, and so Pela overall is going to be a great option. One of the best harmony buffers, you know, no shocker, one of the best ones is going to be Robin, because, you know, when isn't she? You know, 50% damage done from the skill, fantastic, absolutely broken. Giving everyone another turn to attack is super good, because now you have more turns to get the toughness down as fast as possible and kill everything as fast as possible. Massive increase to attack percent, you know, also giving everyone crit damage, and if you're running on a follow-up team where she excels at, increasing the crit damage up by follow-up attacks by an extra 25%. You know, the usual, everything Robin provides is just going to be absolutely fantastic, no matter even if you're just using her on a follow-up attack team or something else, wherever you want to use her. She's just going to be great overall, making her one of the best options to use. And another no shocker, Ruan Mei is going to be equally as broken, especially in something like Apocalyptic Shadow where you want to break as fast as possible, since her 50% weakness break efficiency given to all allies is super beneficial in something like Apocalyptic Shadow especially. Damage don't increase, which further gets amplified based off having some more break effect once you do reach 180 break effect, so you can get even more damage from the skill for the damage dealt. Giving everyone all type rest pen from the ultimate, also being able to re-break enemies, giving everyone more speed so they can gain more turns is great. Doing more damage to targets when they're broken is really good as well. You know, everything Ruan Mei provides is just going to be absolutely fantastic, so mainly on break teams, but she can still practically be used anywhere, making her a fantastic option. Sunday is also going to be broken, giving anyone as many turns as you do want or as tuned for. Any team that practically wants an action forward and giving character, so if you're running him with like an E2 Acheron, with Yunli, he's fantastic. Whatever team you practically just want to throw him on, he's going to be cooking, you know, giving that extra turn, giving damage now, and if you're using with someone like Jingwan, the further summon damage that was broken, giving the energy is absolutely broken, plus the crit damage, you know, giving that person also 20% crit rate, just insane. Only team you practically don't use them on is going to be break, and that's if you're not using it with Buto, Buto mainly, because with Buto, Sunday is broken, so that's like the only other case. But with Firefly Rappa, you don't use him, otherwise with Buto, you would. And so he just has a lot of slots on teams, overall making him a really good option. And I'm actually going to group these together, but both the Harvey Trailblazer and Fugue both being Super Break enablers. So if you're running a Super Break based character, so Rappa or Firefly, both of these characters being able to enable the Super Break is going to be super valuable. You know, Harvey Trailblazer does give more, but Fugue is still just equally as broken considering how much she can do. Plus that defense shed she does give off this when attacking, so the Foxy and Prayer person that has that buff will be able to also shred defense, which is going to be super good. But again, both of them are basically mainly just to be there to enable Super Break. So the characters that want the Super Break can actually have a good conversion, so again, Firefly or especially someone like Rappa, both of them benefit a bunch from this, so either or, fantastic enablers to use and also fantastic supports in general. I'm also grouping these together, but Sparkle and Brony are practically equally as good as well. Sparkle has the benefit of having skill points given with the extra 4 skill points plus overcapping your skill points. While Brony buffs can technically be better plus the attack percent, so technically she can give more plus that cleanse she has is going to be really good, especially on something like the first half. Again, only issue with Brony is you got to manage skill points very effectively because it's a bit iffy with her, especially if you're running her with someone that is very skill point hungry, as a lot of DPSs are nowadays. So definitely with someone like Brony, you're going to want to definitely manage your skill points, but with Sparkle, you can spam it, getting the big crit damage increase from that, but the only difference is she can only give 50% action advance while Brony gives a turn. Sparkle also doesn't have a cleanse, so that can be a bit annoying at times, you know, also providing Cypher, giving everyone damage, while Brony gives everyone attack percent, and also can be action forward. With the correct tuning, you could do something like Skill Basic. Skill Basic can help you offset the usage of skill points from Brony, but still overall, in cases where you can use them, both of them are really good. Now, I do want to mention the Remembrance Trailblazer because they might be a bit niche right now since the best team they're mainly on is with the Herda, but practically any team you do want to slot them on, they're actually really damn powerful thanks to true damage being just absolutely insane. You know, again, that mem support plus giving the action advance, so giving another turn, and again, the true damage is just absolutely broken. That extra damage you're giving to your main DPS is going to do really good, and again, you can get a bunch of turns plus the extra attacks mems can do, where mem is going to be very helpful in the first half to help lower toughness since, you know, ice damage. You can still use it on the second half, they will be better in the first half, but once again, you can use it on either or. Best with the Herda, but still can be great with someone like Yunli, using her with Yunli. Using the Remembrance Trailblazer with Yunli is fantastic. You can even use Remembrance Trailblazer with something like an E2 Acheron, that's also a pretty viable option. So overall, Remembrance Trailblazer is also a fantastic choice, and is also very universal. Now for these sustains, you know, no shocker, Aventurine is going to be broken. You know, both also do have a primary imaginary weakness. Aventurine can help tons with lowering toughness, plus he gives you the shield to practically where you don't have to worry about dying. If you're running him on a fall team or any team that does want to crit, the unnerve debuff is great. Able to refresh the shield thanks to his fall attack, and his bug is fixed, so you don't have to worry about actually just getting rolled by the actual bug that was existing in 2.7. So, fall attack, and then you combine it with all his bonus traces. Him can also do just really good, solid sub-DPS damage as well. So not only is he helping you lower toughness and also debuffing the enemy, making them take more crit damage, and also making you immortal, he can also do some damage overall to help them go down as well. And overall, Aventurine is just very strong, overall making him one of the best options to use. And then the other best option to use on a break team, but even on a follow-up team, you know, Acheron team works well as well. Better on the second half, but again, could be used on either halves, is Linksha, because, you know, the break debuff that she does provide with the Fog is super good. You know, at times you can feel that even if you're not just on a break team, her skill being pure AoE, so you can hit everyone as well. And then when you do have the bunnies go, the Fuyuan attack hits everyone, AoE cleanse, practically heals you so much to the point you don't die either. Overall, Linksha is another fantastic option. Gallagher is also great primarily on a break team because he does have a weaker version of Befog with his being besotted, making them take about half the value you would give from Linksha, but it's still good. Plus, he does also provide offensive healing, so attacking to heal is going to be really good. So overall, on fast-paced teams, but mainly on break teams, Gallagher is a great option as well. And the last three I'm going to talk about is Fuofuo, Fushwan, and Luocha. I'm going to go over them really quickly just because, you know, this video is already super long. Fuofuo is fantastic because she does provide a bunch of healing, you know, has the Dispel debuff, you know, gives everyone energy and a massive attack increase. So her healing amount and also having cleanse is really good, plus the buff she provides is great. When it comes to Fushwan, she can tank a lot, only issue is you gotta watch out for some CCs, and also not get hit with a big hit because that can mess her up, but she does have the actual buff of giving everyone max HP and also increasing everyone's crit rate. She can heal back when you do fall below 50% HP, her ultimate can also heal everyone, so that's also nice. So overall, good actual capabilities of supporting and such, while also sustaining. And then when it comes to Luocha, unfortunately he doesn't have any buffs like Popo or Fushmon can provide, but he provides so much healing, probably the best output in the game still, to the point you don't have to die. You practically never have to use a skill with him either, since it has the auto proc and then the field heals so much, plus you can also remove a buff from an enemy, so that's also good. So overall, for pure healing output, Luocha is a fantastic option as well. Now for when it comes to use what buff with what units. So for the first half, obviously if you're using the Herda or an Erudition combo team, the first buff is going to be the one to go, as it buffs the Erudition characters. Second one is mainly if you are using Yunli or Clara, since those are like the only physical DPSs you would use on this half, minus Boot Hill. But that would bring me to the last point for this one. This is the one which you would take if you're using any break DPS, so Rappa, Boot Hill, Firefly, since it's going to be primarily the focus on this. Or if you're using someone else on the side that would not benefit from physical damage, since they're not physical, or you're not using an Erudition character, then you could just take this last one, since that extra action events can benefit anyone, but mainly for the break characters, because you know they'd be breaking more. But still, since they wouldn't be able to make use of these buffs, they can make use of this buff. And then when it comes to the second half, the first one is the one you would take with any dot combination. So any dot team you're taking will take the first buff. The second buff is going to be for your any break DPS, and the last buff would be practically for anyone that is going to be practically in any other use. Ultimate damage, great for someone like Feixiao and also someone like Acheron. This is the main buff you're going to be taking for anyone that isn't dot related, since the dot characters would take the first one, and if they're not break related, because the break characters would take the second one. So the last one is for anyone that would benefit from, you know, ultimate damage, basic attack damage, and so on, or just anyone else that would not benefit from either of these. And yep, that is the video. Once again, yeah, I know it's definitely fast paced, but that's the point of the video, just rapid firing your characters. Be sure to comment down below what you use so other people can get even more ideas. And yep, peace out.